Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Kalandra League 3.19. In this episode, I'm going to be going through the balance manifesto for Lake of Kalandra League 3.19, and I'm going to be going through this in the way I think is the best. I've already gone through it, had a long stream. You can go watch the stream if you want and go watch the live reaction. Alright, so I figured it would be most interesting to start off with the minion balance first, since we are the minion thing and minion build, and this is mostly about minions, and then there's some extra stuff after that is important, but we'll start with the minion stuff first. I think the most important thing to do for the minions is to first point out a few things before we dig into anything, and I'll give you my opinion of all of this at the end, don't worry. Added a new ring base item type, Bone Ring. This ring has an implicit minion elemental res modifier and can roll minion-related mods. It's because they remove the 10% minion LE res on the small passives, leading to grave intention, so you lose 20 LE res on the tree, but we could get it through a ring instead of an unset ring. They also made Bone Ivory Fossilised Spirit Shields able to roll minion modifiers, and it also has minion damage implicit when we don't know how much instead of spell damage. We could check how much spell damage it has. There's also the two new wands, level 20 and 50 equivalents of the Convoking Wand, and can roll minion-related mods. Some of the new minion-related mods have been added to the available pool, and some existing modifiers have been adjusted and or made more common. So, like, we could get the shit from Delve made more common with minions are aggressive, or maybe you can roll minions are aggressive on a wand. And then they also had changed it so the +3 helmet is now a +2 to all, because they took out, we have to just, like, preemptively get into a couple of these things. They took out the +2 from the Ascendancy or something. Where is that? +2 Ascendancy gone. We got Unholy Might, and we get, there's one more. The monkeys frenzy power charges are no longer monster elevated bonuses. They're player bonuses, so they're way worse. Now let's actually get into the nitty gritty. Okay, so I just wanted to point out that there's all these new things, there's new sources, new options, but we don't actually know what the numbers are on them, but that's like, these are the replacements. Oh, and we can get a +2 level of minion gems tabula or like body armor and go for like a crazy 8-link chest plate. Like, it's actually insane. And even the ghastly jewel modifiers have been updated, so there's a lot of potential here. And now I'll go into the actual changes. So they decided that minion builds are too gem and like tree dependent. They're not gear dependent enough. They wanted to make minions more gear dependent, so they reduced the damage and life scaling of all minions except for Spectre, AG, anime guardian, anime weapon, blink arrow, and mirror arrow, and the spider from Arakali's Fang. So they're all 20% lower at level 20 and 10% lower at level 30. Then Spectres, instead of getting this nerf, they get a separate nerf, which is a level nerf. So they lose 2 levels at 20, and they lost 1 level at 25. This is fine, especially with the extra levels, but then, and they don't have the worst level scaling because of this nerf, so that's fine. And like I said, the new stuff, we have no idea how good any of this is. We just know that there is more options. It's actually possible instead of not being possible. And then the +2 helmet, we don't know how rare it is. We don't know if it's an item level 86. We don't know if it's super rare to roll. And then the vendor recipe for the +1 has been replaced with a new recipe. And happy hunting. We don't know what it is. It might be similar, but yeah. And then we could corrupt for a +2 socket of minion gems on helmet, body, gloves, and boots. So you could get like a +2 minion gems from Delve and get a corruption for +2 minion gems. You could have a +4 glove or boot. Damn. And then they also took 15 minion life off of Indom Army. Okay, so then here they did nerfs and buffs to specific minions. So this is like similar damage for Absolution. It's not really a nerf, it's not really a buff, it's similar. It depends on if you build more added damage. Animate Guardian damage buff, apparently. It doesn't really matter. They changed the mana cost of Animate Weapon a little bit. Nerfed a little bit. Not bad. It's probably going to be good. I have to mention this before we get into anything else. The minions no longer have hidden penalties on Bleed, Ignite, and Poison. So Summon Reaper no longer has a hidden bonus to bleeding to counteract the penalty. And so poison just does twice as much damage on minions, 3 times as much ignite, and 7 times as much bleed. Holy shit. So now we go into the minion changes. Apparently animate weapon poison. So that's going to be a thing. And then animate guardian and then maybe chains of command. Okay, Aracali's Fang poison. So the poison damage is twice as much, but the duration is half. So they lost half the damage, but the ramping is faster by twice as much. This is way better. It loses 25 Physis Chaos, but this is basically, if you look, Necromancer lost the +2, which you couldn't use for the spiders, because this was a skill gem, and the spider is from the weapon. So Unholy Might can actually be used for the spiders now, so the spider can go in Necromancer instead of going Occultist. It could get the Unholy Might, it could get the Commander, all this stuff. It's pretty interesting. They actually could make up for the loss of the Fizz damage taken as extra chaos, and then they actually get 15 increased poison per spider, but I'm pretty sure this doesn't even affect the poison from the spiders. It only affects your poison, because that's minion poison, and it's not... Okay. Herald of Agony, basically 1% attack speed at level 20 extra, so it's 40% attack speed with 40 virulence. Herald of Purity, some damage, 15% damage, 1 less cooldown, and some more AoE. Phantasm Support just does 20% more damage. I think this is so they don't get killed by these nerfs of the damage and the life. So they just lost life. Because they gained back the damage. This is to make up for the nerf to all minions. Raise Zombie just loses 20 move speed from the quality and only has 20 life on the quality now, and it also gets nerfed by the minion nerf. Carrion Golem doesn't get the life from the quality anymore, only minion damage, and has more base life and doesn't, and the increased minion life only goes with 38 instead of 68, so it's different. Possibly more life, possibly less life, but also with the nerf just to minions in general, probably less. So Carrion Golem nerfed, Zombie nerfed, Chaos Golem. So they did this life thing to all of them, but different life amounts. And now this one has, the Cascade has effectiveness of 100% from 60, a cooldown of 3 seconds from 3.5, a base crit chance of 5% from 0, and approximately 10% higher base area of effect. And the Golem's Chaos Storm now deals up to 25% more damage at level 20. So that's some pretty nice changes for the Chaos Golem. Chaos Golem looks a lot better, but you don't play the Chaos Golem until 38, and you need you'd want the Golem jewels and stuff to really make it a lot better. Golem items. Flame Golem got buffed. They made it so he can use the Mortar spell in close range. It has added damage effectiveness of 200% instead of 100. Incinerate has added a damage effectiveness of 80 instead of 20. The Cone deals 30% more damage at all levels and has effectiveness of 200 from 100. And the base crit 5 from 10. So it's because this is going to be a crit season, so they had to take crit off of this. It would have been OP. Summon Ice Golem. It's still probably going to be really strong. Gem quality no longer grants the minion life on all of these. The super OP qual. And this one has the Golem's Ice Spear now has an added damage effectiveness of 150% instead of 100. And the Lightning Golem, they made 6% base crit on the spells, and the proj is 250% added damage effectiveness. This is a disgusting amount of added damage effectiveness. That's really big. It's the biggest of them all, so it's the best one to stack added damage onto, and it attacks really fast. Really cool. Or spells. The spells are really fast with the cast speed. And then Stone Golem, nothing. But more life instead of increased life can potentially hit higher highs, because more is more and increased is additional. So that's insane. More life. Okay. Stone Golem pops. Maw build. Pretty cool. Also minion instability with the new buff to ignite. If you can make the minion instability ignite, then it's pretty good, because the buff to ignite. Where is that here? 3.5 times damage with ignite. If you can't crit the minion instability, so you'd have to have chance to ignite, and you can't really start with it. but it's still pretty cool. So you can make a SRS pop build, and I'll explain that in a second. Summon Holy Relic now has 250% effectiveness of added damage at all gem levels from 70. Wow, to 146. And then 50% more life regenerated per second to allies. So it was like, what, a couple hundred health, and now it's going to be like 300 health. It's going to be a lot. Summon Raging Spirit no longer has minions gained 15% less added damage, so it's 85% damage effectiveness. Now has 0% more damage at level 1, up to 38% at level 20. Previously 0. This is to make up for the nerf to the minions, but with more. This is actually a buff, not just fixing, like, making up for the loss. Minion base life is now 20% higher. Again, it's to make up for the loss, because I realize they nerfed all minions. So Skellies got nerfed up here, and then SRS got fixed, buffed to revert the nerf, and more. And then they also get the Helm enchant change. They buffed the Helm enchant from 16 to 16 from 12 and 24 from 18. Reaper. So SRS looks really good. Phantasm looks really good. You have a 20% chance to summon Phantasm and 20% more damage. So you can summon them easier, and they do more damage to make up for the nerf. Zombies just got nerfed. Chaos Golem just got nerfed. Skellies got nerfed. Okay, the Summon Reaper. The buff granted when consuming a minion no longer grants 40% increased damage. It now grants attack speed, move speed, and increased area of effect. The Reaper's dash / attack now has an added damage effectiveness of 150 from 250. So this is fine, doesn't matter. The biggest thing here for the Reaper is that it gets nerfed by the nerf up here, and so it's going to be squishy as fuck, and I don't know. Okay, it literally has to sacrifice minions to heal itself because it's going to be getting absolutely rolled. Summon Skeletons no longer has minions gain 50% more added damage. Skeleton Mages now deal approximately 5% less at level 1 and up to 25% less at level 20, and even more probably later. Costs 5 mana at level 1 and up to 16 from 12, so it costs more mana too, because it was too cheap apparently. So this is a nerf to Skelly Mages, and then also the nerf to the normal minions, Skellies, and then they also got the nerf to the Skellies. So SRS looks really good. Skellies is probably still playable with Val Skelly, but it's like a lot worse. And then maybe the gear makes up for it. That's the whole point of why I read out the gear at the beginning, is because all of this is dependent on the new ring, shield, and wands, and all the new potential mods, and even the helmet and the ghastly eye jewel, and how rare all this shit is, and how how broken it is, and what affix it is, a prefix, a suffix. So then, like I said, they remove the hidden penalties to bleeding, ignite, poison, make it so we can actually use then you are doing 2 times as much poison, 3.5 times as much ignite, 7 times bleed. But the Reaper should be the same, and it's mostly the other ones, so like a Stone Golem bleed, a Stone Golem ignite, and maybe a poison fizz chaos minion like the Chaos Golem or the zombies. Yeah, it's really cool for trying to take advantage of one of the dots. And then we get into, they changed Spirit Offering. So Spirit Offering used to be elemental res, chaos res, and minions gain % of their fizz as extra chaos, like the spiders and Unholy Might. It instead now grants 150 crit strike chance and 39 crit multi. And so 39, well, okay, so the 150 crit strike chance is like 7.5 crit on the base crit of 5, not counting the base crit from a Assassin's Mark or the extra brittle, which later in the post they say that brittle is 2% instead of 5%, so you have less base crit, so then the crit strike chance is less effective. But 39 crit multi is quite a lot. But then they also said right in the next post, the Fearsome Force passive skill tree cluster no longer grants minion area affected. Now, it is now a larger cluster that grants minion critical strike chance and multiplier. So they say that they are allowing us to get, because of the removal, making the bonuses the same from power and frenzy charges as players for minions, makes you get a lot less increased crit strike chance from your power charges, and a lot less attack speed and more damage from the frenzy charges. So, well, you still get the same, more, it's just the attack speed. So they were saying here that to make up for the crit strike chance, because it's such a large amount lost from the power charges in the above change, it would render crit minion builds near impossible without further changes. So they gave us more crit strike chance nodes on the tree and multi, but then they say that we will not be able to get back all of the crit strike chance, and instead we're going to make up for the loss of damage via the addition of multiple sources of minion crit strike multi. So this is the point. The 39 crit multi is overstated because we won't have as much crit, so we're not critting as much, so then you have to have bigger crits to make up for the critting less. So we're going to have more multi, but less chance. So we're going to be critting less, but critting for more. Does that make sense? And then they took out the mastery for 100% crit strike chance and replaced it with 30 AoE, and they killed Fearsome Force. So goodbye your 60 AoE, goodbye your crit strike chance, and you have 30 AoE, and then you have a larger node that you need to spend more points on for the crit strike chance and crit multi, which won't even be to the same. Okay. The new minion modifiers mentioned above include a family of minion crit strike chance modifiers available on wands and shields, and a family of minion crit strike multiplier modifiers on wands. So like all of the other things, we can't really judge any of this because we're missing the new ring, the shields, the wands, all of the new shit. But we can judge what we've seen and what we have here, and my monkeys are dead, my zombies look nerfed, my carry-on golems nerfed, my skellies are nerfed, the ascendancy's nerfed, you're more gear dependent, the tree is nerfed, you're more gear dependent, they buffed some things like SRS and some golems in weird ways, and yep. And they killed, yeah, they killed charges. They make us a crit season. We have crit league coming up. And they took the +2 and made it unholy might. So only Fizz builds can take advantage of this. Which, it's not even Fizz, it's Fizz as Chaos. So it's actually a Chaos build. Then we'll get into the rest. So, I'll get into the rest now. Stay tuned. Okay, so then we have this part, a miscellaneous character and item balance. The base crit strike chance provided by the Brittle Ailment serves as an enormous effect damage boost to builds focused on it. As more and more methods of investing in alternative ailments are added to the game, Brittle has begun to overshadow other ailments. Reduce the amount of crit strike chance provided by Brittle to make it more comparable to Scorch and Shock. So it can only go up to 6% at the highest from 15, and now has a base value of 2 from 5. So our Brittle was 2.5 times better than it was supposed to be. Brittle is now 2 from 5. Okay. So we're a lot less crit strike chance, because that's base crit, and then we won't even have all the increased crit strike chance from the power charges anymore either. Okay, and then they also removed the 15 mana reservation efficiency mastery from the passive tree. Okay, let's continue. There's more. Melding of the Flesh, unique, jewel now has -4 to -6 to all maximum elemental resistances. So if you get the -4 and you did the same thing and you try to go to 90 resis, you'll go to 86. To get 90, you'll have to go to 94. Building 4 extra max res is massive, and this is really expensive, and this is really insane, and lowers the value of the melding by a freak ton. I don't even know if melding's that good anymore. This is a really, 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 really big change to melding. Holy shit. They also only nerfed Omni and not Ashes. They basically nerfed this by half, requiring 15 Omni instead of 10 for the stacking. Same number, but then it's 15 Omni. This is a nerf by 50%. This is a pretty huge nerf, but it needed it. It was better than Ashes, and people are saying that now Ashes is going to be more popular because of a nerf to this, but I don't really see that happening. This just means that people will try to use different amulets instead of Omni for their LE builds. Then we have this part, the Grasping Mail modifier that provides 100% increased global defenses provides too much value to a build heavily investing in defenses for a single mod slot. The prefix modifier that can roll on Grasping mods, which provides increased global defenses, now has a value of 50%, previously 100%. Oh my god, my chest plate too, man! Sheesh. Oh, there's also this. Defiance banner is too strong, so they made it 15 to 24 increased instead of 30 to 49. It's a nerf by half. Also on the crit, they actually buffed it though. 30 to 40 reduced crit from 20 to 29, and then they nerfed this by half for the quality of the increased armor and evasion for anomalous. This is a massive nerf to Defiance banner. It is insane. I don't think I'd run this anymore. People will still run this when they don't have an option of a banner because they look at War Banner and Dread Banner. But for our Fizz stuff, we still get to run War Banner and Dread Banner. When I don't run those, you probably still run Defiance and this is still good. That's so insane, right? That it could be 2 times as good. It was that good before. Holy shit. There's also this Arctic armor thing that was really cool. It's technically really cool physical damage reduction and less damage taken. It's a lot more than it used to be. 13% to 21 is a lot. 8 of 13 is like a 60% buff. This is disgusting. And it only costs 25, so this could be really good for doing blight because of the stationary. Technically you're freeze immune, but I don't really know how that helps us for being stationary anyways. But this could be really useful, the Arctic armor buff. Now, probably one of the most important things of all of this is not only did we get all of those changes, there's this. They changed spell suppression because they say here, spell suppression is intended to mostly be accessible to characters on the right side of the tree. However, spell suppression values on items are high enough that any character can reasonably reach 100% chance through items alone, and passive skills that grant suppression are relatively weak in comparison. The results in capped spell suppression feeling like a mandatory pickup for most characters that want strong defenses, rather than mostly an option to complement evasion-focused builds. So they're reducing the values of spell suppression granted by items, increasing the amount of suppression granted by passive skills, and a few other sources. So pretty much, if you get your gear, you're not capping. You lost 12% on the shield and the body. Massive. The minion, the glove and shit, 8%. It's insane, dude. This shit's insane. So basically my idea of this is either we're going to be using the tree and a combination of items to cap, or I'm just not going to be capping the spell suppression at all, and I'll just ignore spell suppression, or we go from that side of the tree and we could become a different ascendancy minion player because they take out the +2 from the necromancer. We can go any ascendancy. Let's go get some free spell suppression from raider, and let's go make a raider minion. But like, I don't know, we could just ignore spell suppression until uber bosses, basically, because the uber bosses are balanced around spell suppression, and they probably should have nerfed spell suppression and nerfed the uber bosses. Maybe we can still have hope, chat. Let's have hope. Let's pray. They actually just balance the game. They nerf Arch Nemesis. They nerf the Uber bosses. They balance it so that you don't need this stuff, and then it doesn't matter, and it's actually just better all around. And we can't understand it right now because we don't know what the new items are for the minions. We don't know what the new mods are. We don't know what the new ring is. We don't know what the new shield or the new wands. And we don't know what balance changes they can make to Arch Nemesis, the rares, or the uniques, or even these Uber bosses, or even changes specifically for them against minions to make up for the losses that maybe we won't need as much. Who knows what they have planned? I'm sure they have a lot. This shit is extremely complicated. There's so much shit going on, but I really appreciate getting rid of hidden penalties, hidden stuff, and making and clearly going in the right direction and trying to fix stuff and make it more like proper. And then I appreciate this overall, I'd say, that as long as it works out. And then they actually wrote here that apparently it's providing more ways for players to invest in minions on their gear, allowing minion damage and survivability to each be higher than previously possible for a character with strong items. So they wrote here in this line that we should be stronger even though we have lower minion base life and damage. So after investment in gear with the new mods, apparently it's going to be even stronger. So that's even without nerfing the uber shit or the arch nemesis. Apparently we will be able to get stronger, which having powerful stuff that we can go for and learn and have a fun season does sound kind of cool. It kind of sounds like Minion League. Sounds pretty fun. SRS looks really good. Phantasm looks really good because you can just revert the nerfs. You gain damage, you gain 38% more damage, you got the life, and then Phantasm, you just have 20% more damage and higher chance of spawning them. So, yeah, nice. Overall, I would say that obviously losing the +2 from the Ascendancy is a nerf to Necromancer. Because minion survivability, putting it on the helmet makes it gear dependent and kills the helmet slot, especially a unique helmet. Would they rework the Baron to be +2 to all, or is it still going to be +2 socketed? And I guess now you can get a Baron with +2 socketed minion, which is kind of cool. That's kind of cool, right? That's really good. And like I said, a +2 socketed minion gems tabula start would be insane. And there's potential that this new Bone Ring has like really high minion elemental res as an implicit, so you might actually take that instead of an unset ring. Like they could just overstat some of this where we have to take it and it makes up for the losses, but then I'm scared of them nerfing it in the future after this season in the next one, because they nerf the shit, they nerf the base minions, they make OP shit to make up for the nerf, then they nerf the OP shit, and now we have the nerf and the not OP shit. We lose the stuff and the minion nerf. Yep. But it was gradual, so it's fine, right? Either way, overall, I would say that this makes it look like we're screwed. It makes it look like we're dead. On paper, it looks weird. We don't have the full picture. We're missing so much shit. But I have hope. Copium, I believe. And I think everything will be fine. And I believe in the GGG team to do this. And I think this is just not everything, and we actually know that it's not everything, and we know that this could make up for it, and we can see the possibilities here and how we could even already start building for this next season. I want this shit right now. Let's go play. Where's the patch notes? Either way, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. Let me know if you think minions are dead, what you're gonna start, what your budget build is gonna be, and if you think there's any cool combinations I missed out of this new stuff. We'll probably have to make a bunch of builds this season to try out all these changes, because there's a bunch of things that look viable for mid-game, end-game builds. And I'm really, like, the dot stuff is like the coolest thing. We'll be able to do dot minions finally. Holy moly. So like an SRS start with the Ignite sounds really fun. You could even do a Poison Fizz build with the Chaos and the Unholy Might. And we could even do Bleed with like, yeah, just the Fizz. It's really cool. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I hope you guys enjoyed my feedback. I hope this could enlighten you to what's happening, and you're looking forward to it as much as I am. We really need to know about the new Bone Ring and the shield and the wands. Either way. One more final part is that blessing skills can no longer be supported by life tap, so you'd have to actually do Divine Blessing and then reserve, like, have the mana cost for it, and you could technically reduce the mana cost to make this work, and you get extra aura effect on the thing. It goes up to 29% from 19. They did buff the aura effect, and then this makes your 50% aura only cost like some mana, like 200 or something, and you could reduce the mana cost. So instead of doing life tap, of where you just make it cost life and you recover the life, you could just reduce the cost or whatever, and or just have enough mana to be able to activate it, because it can be a huge damage boost to be able to activate a big 50% aura for just some mana and recover the mana, compared to reserving a big amount. It's this new hybrid where they make you actually press the skill too. There's potential to use this in the new season, but I think we're going to be really, really, really socket starved to where this is just not even close. It was at least close and viable with the life tap for the big power, but that's why they fixed it, so we don't have to use it, because we're going to be so socket starved without the unset rings using these new bone rings. So yeah, had to throw that in there. I didn't want to miss the extra Divine Blessing, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this. I technically didn't include the Hydrosphere thing, which is just saying that it was bugged for different entities. Each entity had its own cooldown, so technically each entity could hit it once. So it's not that it had no cooldown, it's just that it got to AoE once, so it wasn't as good as people thought, but it was slightly working. So they fixed that, so it only allows Hydrosphere to be hit by the entity that cast it. It's so insane. So insane. Which, yeah, they would have still had a cooldown, and it would have only got one hit on it. It would have been insane. Oh, and they also, I actually missed this. They buffed haste. I forgot that it was in this, like, small... There's also, like, a buff to a rejuvenating totem and devouring totem, which could actually be useful, like rejuve totem for keeping your minions alive early. And then haste, so 10 move speed, the same, but then 15 attack and cast speed instead of 4, up to 9, and 15 and 20 at level 20 from 16. And then Val Haste, 16 move speed from 10, so more, and up to 20 at 20 from 13, and the attack and cast speed is the same. So they just made haste better, they made Val Haste better. This is a pretty impressive change to this, because especially with Aura Effect too, and then you could use this as your Divine Blessing, like Aura, your 50% Aura. And then this makes you go faster, and the minions go faster, and I'll also make a point. They took out the move speed quality from the zombie, so they actually kind of need this quality more than anything. Like, if you were to play zombies, haste is really good because they lost the move speed, and then you also are incentivized to be using Spirit Offering in the new season instead of Flesh Offering, with the crit strike chance and the crit multi if we're going to be having a crit season. So then with this, you're also not running Flesh Offering, so you're losing even more minion move speed. 30% plus the extra 20% from the zombie, so maybe this can make up for the minion move speed through the haste. You get 10%, and maybe your Val Haste for the 16, up to 20% at 20, so you get like 30% move speed with Aura Effect, and then Aura Effect it. It's pretty insane. But yeah, that's everything. I had to add in some extra ones that I missed at the end when I realized Manifesto's insane. We have to know the rest of the stuff. We're missing a lot of stuff here. This is like a part of the Manifesto, but overall, I would say minions are alive. I will do my best, and it's gonna be really different, and it's gonna be a lot more gear dependent, and we'll have to see how it ends up working out and shaking out in the end. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. We'll be having League Start soon. League Start practice soon. Bye!